This book, did I enjoy it? It was okay. So it goes. I got so sick of that phrase. What's up guys, welcome back to Unlimited Reads. My name is Chris and today I'll be doing a review of my first book as part of New World's November, the latest reading project created by the Bookish Bryants, where for the month of November we read nothing but science fiction, and I'm delighted to be a co-host for this project. Now, each week is split up into separate subcategories of science fiction, and this week's theme is terrestrial. Any work of science fiction at 250 pages or under, set on planet Earth. Now for my pick for this week, I chose Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut, published in 1969 to great critical acclaim and was hailed as the greatest anti-war novel of all time. Now before I continue, I do need to advise you that this review will contain spoilers. Normally I don't do spoilers for newish books, but for this one I've made an exception because a lot of people have read it. It's a revered classic, so I've certainly made an exception in this case. So if you haven't read it yet and you don't want to watch the video, feel free. But if you want to watch the video, go for it. Now this book, in summary, it spun me out. It really messed with my head, and I did have to spend quite a bit of time before filming to just gather my thoughts and put everything together, because there are a lot of elements to consider. So the book is based on actual events during Vonnegut's experiences in Dresden, Germany during World War II, and Slaughterhouse-Five is an actual underground meat locker. His main character, Billy Pilgrim, has been displaced from time. He goes from one period of his life to another, out of his control, and he has no choice when he winds up. In his youth, he does well in high school and does night classes studying optometry, then drafted into the army during World War II. So while in the middle of the Battle of the Bulge, he's captured by Germans as a POW. Just before this, he takes his first jaunt through time and sees his life in one big hit. And whilst he's a prisoner, he has a nervous breakdown and time travels again. He's taken to Dresden, which is a nice little town, and housed in Slaughterhouse-Five. Now the town one night is bombed by US forces and the whole area is levelled. The destroyed buildings and rubble he describes as a moonscape, which is a really good description, and 130,000 people die. Eventually the Russians come and rescue Billy along with other American POWs, and he returns to the States to resume his studies, gets engaged to his girlfriend Valencia, has another nervous breakdown, and he's committed to a veterans hospital. And on his release, he then marries Valencia, gets a good job in optometry, has 2 kids, makes a fair bit of money, and enjoys a pretty good life. Now after his daughter's wedding, he gets abducted by aliens. I can't pronounce the name of them, so I won't bother. Whisked away to a remote planet where he is put in a zoo of sorts so that he can be studied by the alien population and forced to mate with an earthling woman. He comes back to Earth and says nothing about this to anyone, and while on a plane trip, he crashes and he sustains severe head injuries. Valencia dies on the way to him in a car crash, and when he recovers, he's compelled to share his experience that he had on this planet with the aliens. He makes a tape about his death that he has experienced, and after he dies, he flips around through various other events in his life. So the book's well written, and it's obvious why it's a classic and revered by so many people, but I have to say, so it goes, a phrase used liberally throughout the book. Did it have to be used so much? I don't think so. Some people may like that, but I don't. I found it an annoying distraction. I'm a no-nonsense kind of guy, and I just want you to tell me the story. There was a whole paragraph in German early on in the book that was irritating. I don't speak or read German. I thought maybe it was a little bit self-indulgent on Vonnegut's part, but that's being a bit nitpicky, I know. But you know, the narrative skips around a lot and it had me confused in places. I guess it's an original way of unfolding the story in a non-linear way, which it actually challenges the reader, which isn't a bad thing, I will give it that. But you know, the book overall wasn't for me. I didn't love it, but at least I know now that I can say that I've read it if I'm ever asked, and I most likely won't read it again. Well, I might, just to brush up on it again, but it was an experience, let me tell you, and I might need to give the adaptation a watch as well, just to see what I think. The most interesting thing about this book came about with a question that was posed to me by Greg over at another bibliophile read. You must check out his channel, he is really good. He posed the question, that is this in fact a science fiction novel, given that does Billy Pilgrim really travel through time? And it was an interesting question, and I had thought about it before being asked that, and I thought, well, look, in the book there's no mention of any kind of technology enabling Billy to transfer himself back and forward through time, and given that his consciousness appeared to travel back in time and forward in time, it begs the question, is it all just in his head? Is he accessing memories? Is the PTSD affecting him? So I thought that was really interesting, because if that's the case, it's not really a science fiction novel, it's more a psychological thing. So yeah, read that any way you like, but I just thought that was interesting. It was a very intelligent question, and I wonder how many people have actually thought of that. So yeah, it's definitely some food for thought there. So there you go, guys, that is my review on my first book for New Worlds November. Really looking forward to next week. The category is extraterrestrial, any work of science fiction set away from planet Earth on a different planet. I will be reading Robert Silverberg's Across a Billion Years, which is an early classic, and again, it'll be stepping outside my comfort zone, and I'll be looking forward to taking the leap of faith with that. And I'll also obviously deliver another review video next week. But until next time I see you, I'll catch you later.